Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon. My name is Christy Leon Rivero, and we're here from Navarro Discount Pharmacy.
My name is Vince Urrutia, also obviously from Navarro Discount Pharmacy. How many of you are familiar with Navarro in the market? All of you have been to a Navarro? I think we may not need the mics, which is good.
Yeah, I think even though I like karaoke.
We'll go with mics. So you've all been to a Navarro Discount Pharmacy? Yes? Okay, great. So then give me something, anyone, that is really indicative of who Navarro is or what Navarro is. Perfumes, absolutely. What else? Anything else that stands out? Okay.
You go to Navarro all the time. What do you always see there?
Okay. Yes, absolutely. That's true. Yes.
Yes.
That's right. Fabuloso.
Here's
So,
just examples.
yeah, these are some of the items that are really iconic to who we are as an organization, right? And everything you said, fragrances,
Your violetas.
Fabuloso, absolutely. Vaporru, absolutely. Right. And by the way, it takes care of stomach aches, headaches, any issue.
It goes
It's like
on the
Windex
feet,
for,
then you put the socks on, right? All these remedies.
Exactly. That's the Hispanic. It's actually now the Hispanic remedy for anything that ails you. Cafecito Cubano, por supuesto, obviously one of our top items. But Navarro, at the end of the day, is a place that you can come to and find all of those, niche items that in many cases are hard to find. In Miami, it's becoming more commonplace. But certainly, these are the products that are iconic to our brand and to Navarro as a whole. You can find it many places nowadays in Miami, but still, you're sure to find them at Navarro.
And here are just some more items. Speaking of
La galleta
crackers.
Gila, yes. Con la pasta de guayaba, la malta, the alcanfor, which was, our grandmothers back in the day would put it inside their bra. It would take care of any types of germs or potential illnesses that would be their remedy. And of course, we mentioned fragrances, a huge part of who we are as an organization.
So here we have a commercial. We like to have fun with our customers and with our brand. And we're 53 years old in the community. And I think that actually, is one of the factors that makes us so proud of being part of this community for so many years. You don't see that so often. And we have evolved over the years. Our first store in Little Havana, which was a very small store, is still there, and we're very proud of that. And we've expanded our brand. We've actually taken our brand and given it a new look and feel in order to cross the generational gap that there is. But this is just an example of who we are and how we have fun with our brand and our customers.
Los precios en sus farmacias Navarro son tan bajos todos los días que hasta los empleados de otras farmacias vienen a ahorrar en grande. Compare nuestros precios bajos de siempre con los de la competencia.
Bacteria, champú y acondicionador.
$1 más barato. $3 más barato en Navarro.
Loción humectante Vaseline Total Moisture.
$1 más barato. En Navarro los precios son $5 más bajos en estos 3 productos todos los días. Venga a sus farmacias Navarro, donde usted ahorra más.
So that's just an example, and that's actually our original logo, and you'll see that in our rebranding, we've changed some of that. But the basic message here is that our competitors and their employees are shopping our stores on a regular basis because of the assortment, the value, the relationship, the service. So that's just one. This video was actually created about 3 years ago when we celebrated our 50th anniversary. So since then, a lot of different things have taken place, but it gives you a really nice idea of who we are, what our stores look like if you haven't been to some of our newer stores. And we'll go ahead and play that real quick for you.
Navarro Discount Pharmacy has plenty of reasons to celebrate. The largest Hispanic-owned pharmacy chain in the U.S. is turning 50.
This is the start of our celebration, our year-long celebration of 50 years in business. Today we have 28 stores, including one in the Miami International Airport.
Navarro opened its first store in Little Havana in 1961 and has never looked back. And now they're looking at expanding, not only in Miami-Dade, but in Hispanic communities throughout the state of Florida.
Our goal is to double the volume of this company over the next 3 years by adding 22 new locations and 5 per-year store remodels.
In fact, this event, called Noche Hispana, was held at their newly remodeled Hialeah Garden store, which features new colors and enhanced signage, as well as new and improved services for customers, including a pediatric window at the pharmacy. What sets Navarro apart from other pharmacies is our ability to cater to the specific needs of the community we serve. And our goal is to really become a neighborhood pharmacy in those communities where people can come in and feel very comfortable approaching the pharmacist, approaching the manager, knowing the staff.
We provide great service, we're reliable, and the customers know they can get what they want in the Navarro store.
Vendors who've partnered with Navarro and other business owners who were also part of the festivities clearly see the reason for Navarro's success.
Navarro es una compañía que conoce muy bien el mercado latino, además de que tienen productos para prácticamente casi todo el mundo, pero conoce muy bien el mercado latino, está muy al tanto de cómo está la economía hoy, de cómo se mueve, qué es lo que está buscando la gente.
It's a wonderful role model. You looked at their staff, their management team, the organization, the professionalism that they work with and under every day, and that attracts me.
We proclaim this Wednesday, October 27, 2010, as Navarro Discount Pharmacies Day in the city of Hialeah.
Navarro is also expanding into 2 new business opportunities: the development of their wholesale business and e-commerce, which will make their products available beyond their stores. The company is also using technology to target a new generation of customers.
As an example, within the next few months, we're going to be launching our mobile apps technology. So we're going to be enabling our pharmacy into the mobile smartphones ecosystems. It's important to understand what the markets we serve are looking for. We want to know our customer better than anybody else, and we want to serve them better than anybody else can. And that's the way we're going to go to market, and that's what you can expect in the next 50 years. All things to all Hispanics. We continue to emphasize great pricing so that we can always come back and make sure that they stretch their dollar in the best way possible.
Por muchos años lo he visitado y he encontrado en las tiendas Navarro cosas que no puedes encontrar en ninguna otra parte.
To me, Navarro means Latino. Navarro to me means our community. Without a doubt, Navarro is an institution in South Florida.
An institution that looks forward to a bright future, celebrating another 50 years of business and tradition alongside the community it serves.
So isn't that a great video that gives you a little bit of an idea of what you'll find in our stores and how many years we've come along here?
And you know, the evolution of Navarro is really what we want you to take away at the end of our presentation today, and how we've really developed our brand and how we reach our consumer in a very unique way. Here you see our the timeline, and that evolution is very clear. You know, back 53 years ago with our first store in Little Havana, as Chrissy mentioned, and really the evolution of the organization. You know, we have been looked at by many organizations, and NBF, our majority owners, purchased the company back in 2007, and the growth is clear since their purchase of the organization. And we continue to be really pace-setting in the market, especially as it relates to reaching Hispanic consumers, and it's not just the Cuban consumer. We're often, there's often a misconception that we're only catering to Cuban consumers or Cuban Hispanics, and that really is not true today. Very different today than ever before, and certainly is part of that evolution.
So the things we're known for, some of you already mentioned some of these: value, assortment, service, the one-stop shop concept, the niche items, the unique service offerings, relationship with the customer, relationship with the pharmacy, which is so important in all Hispanic cultures, really. The bilingual staff, again, going back to 1961, people were coming from many places and continue to come from many places, but in that time, there was a huge influx from Cuba. We were not only there to speak in the same language, but we employed the many people that came that perhaps wouldn't have had options. So that really became an extension of who our culture is and who we are as a company. And then the convenience offerings, again, you go to a Navarro and you'll find the assortment, you'll find the value, which is great, but we have, which Vince will talk about, we have a variety of services to add convenience to the experience so that it's not just go in and leave with the item you wanted to get. You can do a lot more than just that. And so that's who we are, that's what we're known for, and we continue to evolve as times change and as growth requirements change. So our focus has been on bridging the gap. And the gap is simple, is how do we continue to attract our core customer base, first generation Hispanics, as well as the third and fourth generation bicultural consumer. We have to break the old assimilation belief and better understand that consumer. That consumer comes to the United States from a variety of locations, still wants to keep a connection to their culture, as we all know. And for us as a company, it's important to be able to offer that, as well as understand that assimilation that takes place in the process. So we continue to be relevant for all Hispanics. As Vince mentioned, is taking each one of our stores and looking at its location in specific to better offer a product assortment that appeals to them and fills their needs. And so that's been our goal over the last couple of years, specifically as we continue on our growth path, and really taking a step further and focusing on our grassroots community involvement. We find that that's such a key piece. As a 32 store chain, we're not on every corner, we're not in every neighborhood, but you know what we're known for, and we want to continue to be relevant. And so in order to be that pharmacy of choice, that neighborhood pharmacy, we involve ourselves in many community events. Over 900 events a year are hosted by our company, whether it's in-store, whether it's in the community, whether we're supporting La Liga contra el Cáncer, Miami Children's Hospital. We have many partners in the community, and we find that that is a critical piece to our success. You may have seen us in the news a lot more often in the last 4 to 5 years, and again, it's in following with the theme of the strategy we're embarked on, to grow the company and do things and offer new services that really appeal to that customer base. So what used to be our core strategy has now evolved from a marketing and advertising perspective, how we reach people, how we communicate, the messaging we use. Print, as you all know, was really the core way and the core medium used by many retailers in the past 50 years to communicate. How many of you remember the flyer and the circular and the red plum? People would, a lot of retailers still send it using these mediums, which is such a key piece, but we've added a ton of layers to that to really get to the consumer and attract the core customer as well as that new generation.
And I'd like to add, having worked for many years at CVS Caremark corporate office, large organizations are constantly fighting, as many of you might know, fighting for every resource. Many different departments all vying for that same dollar. What's amazing about Navarro is we have the ability to really go after the consumer in the most relevant fashions. And so we've seen a huge difference because of that. I can tell you from my perspective, having been on both sides of the coin, I see a huge difference with the ability that we have to truly target and reach that consumer.
Absolutely. And so we know this, and it's just a fact. We're growing as Hispanics, as a group. We're getting better educated. We're scaling upwards in income, growing outside of established markets, and predominantly young and US born. So are we ready? Or is our company ready? Are we doing things to be prepared to continue to service this consumer who has specific needs and who's already telling us what their preferences are? So we're getting social, as most companies are having to do nowadays, and we're having fun with it. We launched the Facebook page originally a couple of years back. And now we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Pinterest, and again, we're having fun with it. We have launched an online ambassador program reaching out to key people, bloggers, people that are involved in beauty. As you know, since you've been to Navarro, we have a wide assortment of cosmetics and beauty products. And you go in there, the hardest choice you'll have to make is what color nail polish you're gonna end up purchasing. We have the hottest trends, and so we've reached out to these ambassadors who are supporting our social media efforts, and they're blogging and they're talking about Navarro, and it's a great strategy because what we know about social media is that we don't wanna bore the consumer, right? Posting about our ads. Well, now we're getting real users to come into our stores and talk about their experience and talk about the products. That makes all the difference. We're using user-generated content tools as well. OfferPop, right now, you can win a 32-inch flat screen TV by going in, taking a picture of a product you've purchased at Navarro, which I'm sure all of you have, and just hashtagging it under Si lo tiene todo, and somebody will be selected to win this flat screen TV. So engaging consumers, having fun, using all these mediums to get to that consumer and to attract those individuals.
Our campaign examples, obviously, in print, our weekly circular is huge and has a wide penetration. Obviously using newspapers, other publications, and other in-store mediums, backstuffers, patient offers, and obviously employee discounts are key. And we obviously message based on seasonality, obviously now flu and vaccination season. We've also launched our brand new bus offers or bus advertising, which has been huge, as well as our new mobile clinic. That is actually, getting a lot of traction and really reaching out and bringing that wellness message to the community.
And again, just to reiterate some of the things that we're talking about, pharmacy being the heart of our business, making sure we understand the needs of the patients. Just yesterday, and I'm not just telling the story because I work at Navarro, I was at a store near my house at 10:30 at night filling 3 prescriptions for my 3 children who all have ear infections. Beautiful. It's a fact of life. The fact that I'm able to walk in there and the pharmacist is prepared with what I need. I don't have to wait 3 hours. I don't have to wait till the next day. More importantly, that relationship, right, that the pharmacist says, I see the 3 of them are sick. I don't have to say a word. That relationship is key. Getting my prescriptions filled in a timely fashion and being able to do what I need to do to take care of my family. To take it a step further, we offer free delivery to customers at their home or their office. Again, we're not on every corner, so we're constantly re-engaging and re-strategizing on how we do things to reach that consumer and not make it an inconvenience. So things like that, and we have been known to save certain people's lives. I mean, in our store, we had a glucose check workshop going on during Wellness Wednesday. The gentleman that was there didn't have insurance at the time, hadn't checked his glucose levels, and if it wasn't for that check going on at that very moment, his levels would have been off and perhaps he would have gone, had a seizure or had some other complications. So we rushed him to the hospital. And again, those are the types of things that you may just hear 1 or 2 of those stories, but that one story alone makes a difference. And so we're proud of that. And sometimes people don't hear about these stories. And that's why, again, at events like this, like Hispanicize, which is such a wonderful event in our own city, it's important for us to communicate these things. The mobile app that we've implemented is also key. So pharmacy patients can go in and download an application that gives them real-time information on the status of the prescription, what stage it's at, can log any type of refill information on there, so they have information real-time on what their health needs are. Adherence, we'll talk about a little further in a few more slides. We've launched a really nice program on that. And then we work with doctors in the community. I mentioned Wellness Wednesdays, and that's a program where doctors in our community come out, they sit in our stores, they talk to patients, whether it's an educational workshop or it's an actual physical. It's important for us to be able to do that as an extension of what we provide. And the Doctor's Corner program has been wonderful, and it's been very well received by physicians. So in your specific Navarro, in your town, you can walk into the pharmacy and see who's offering services at a specific time. The in-store promotional vehicles are key. Who can guess how many customers walk in through Navarro stores on a weekly basis? I know it's Friday, it's 3:30, so let's get those minds going. How many customers come in on average on a weekly basis? Throw out a number. We have 32 stores. Give me just one number for all stores. I won't make it too hard. You got it. It's actually closer to 300,000, so very close. We'll send them some coffee or something. But yes, so we see a lot of customers on a weekly basis. Sometimes it's one visit a week, but most of the time you see customers are coming 2 to 3 times a week for their basic needs, whether it's food items, whether it's vitamins, beauty items, pharmacy needs. The idea here is that our stores are not just a place to shop. It's a second home for our customer. They come in and their experience with us is key. So on the left, you see in every store, we usually post a schedule for the month on what's going on in that specific store in their community so that they can participate in these health events. And here you have anything from Palmetto Hospital to Colgate, doing dental screenings, to Florida National College. The sky's the limit, and it's a great way to engage our consumer. And you see pictures of our customers there. Usually, they get a treat while they're there, and so they have a great time. Again, in our community, something that was unique and actually very touching to both Vince and I, we know this family personally. There was recently a little girl that passed away from cancer, and her name was Bella. Some of you may have heard about this story. Well, this family is doing everything possible to raise money for this cause. Everything possible. They're a very small family. Obviously, they've been fighting this battle. Bella was 10 when she passed away. They had been fighting it since she was 3. One day, she just woke up and stopped walking, and the story goes on, and they fought the battle till she was 10. Bottom line is, we reach out to the community in this way. These are some of the things we do. You'll see us work with many other organizations, American Heart Association, Susan G. Komen, and we do all of that as well, but this is the type of thing that really hits the heartstrings and is able to help families in our own neighborhood. So this is just an example of one of those. Again, we do Cuba Nostalgia, we've done the Colombian Festival, we work with Miami Children's on different campaigns, and so again, these are the examples of some of the grassroots events that we participate in. And then with that comes innovation, right? We're constantly having to innovate and look at ways to better the services we offer to the consumer. So our website has gone through a revamp. You can not only manage your prescriptions on there, but you can look at specific products that you may want to purchase, and Vince will talk to you about a new service we've just launched, but it's actually available on our website. We have, like I said, the RX mobile app. We've launched a program for other vendors that we work with, product vendors such as Café La Llave. Who drinks Café La Llave? Here, it's very good. It's our top coffee, and it started at Navarro. That's a beautiful story in terms of a vendor that was very small and grew their brand to a point today where it's probably one of the leading coffees now. So started here in Miami, Florida, and Navarro. Navarro 360 offers our product vendors the opportunity to piggyback with us on campaigns that they would no longer or be able to afford on their own. So it's a great campaign. Navarro Express, which Vince will talk to you about, but allows you the opportunity to order online and pick up at the store, basically like a curbside service. And we're the first pharmacy to offer that. So these are some of the examples on where we have been innovative, and we continue to look at ways to make it very convenient for our consumer. You have anything to add, Vince?
Well, absolutely. I think that the key is that we're looking at every way possible to be relevant to Abuela, right? Many people think of Navarro stores as, Abuela's store, me included. I mean, I remember going in to Navarro's with my grandmother, with my mother, and shopping, and there's always a certain smell and a certain ambiance to the Navarro stores I remember as a child. So how do we keep that, yet truly, create innovations and adapt to today? And so we're really looking at ways that we can make a difference and really bridge that gap, as Christy mentioned earlier. Healthcare reform is one of those ways as well. Obviously, a key topic. And providing access to healthcare is such a crucial thing for our community. And so we've taken really, I think, a leadership position in the market in providing access to healthcare reform information in our stores. In fact, we had many healthcare organizations reaching out, wanting to participate within Navarro stores. You heard Chrissy mention over 300,000 or close to 300,000 consumers cross through our threshold every week in our stores, across all of the 32 stores. Everyone wants a piece of that. And so healthcare reform has played a big part in our stores up until very recently, obviously with the deadline, to give information and provide that access to consumers within our stores. We've done many events around that as well. So beyond just providing access and providing a center where patients or customers can come in and get that information, we've really built programs around healthcare reform to really attract and create some excitement around not just healthcare reform or information regarding that, but really to bring them in and give them some information on healthcare beyond the Reform Act.
And again, we're talking about consumers that otherwise, again, may not have this assistance at home, may not speak the language. And so this, believe it or not, has been a critical piece in another resource for the consumer to, number one, clarify their concerns about what was going to happen, and there's still concern out there, but letting them know and guiding them at least in the right direction. Another example of some of the things that we've done before we get to Vida Mia is launched clubs in order to bridge that gap. So we developed the Mommy and Me Club, which is a very basic club for mothers and for parents that not only need the mommy products, the baby products, but we're offering a variety of discounts to them on a regular basis by targeting specific needs and being able to fulfill those needs. Obviously, when these people are shopping, they're going to find it relevant to also buy other items. So this has also worked very well. What does the Mommy and Me Club offer? It offers free photos at our Photos Development Center. It offers the ability for the fire department to come out and actually check car seats. We all install car seats and we think we do a great job. Well, it's happened to me where somebody checks the seat and I had forgotten to do something. It's not as easy sometimes as it looks. So these are the types of services and offerings that these clubs offer.
And I'd like to add, the services that we offer are always available bilingual. So, some of these programs you might find anywhere. The difference is we do it in a relevant fashion in language so these consumers understand exactly what information is crucial to them for them to understand.
Another club is the Diabetes and Savings Club. Again, Savings Club for people, they may not have insurance. They need assistance. They're looking for foundation support. They're looking to save on their co-pays and on their medications. And so we have a Savings Club that has a specific menu of options for these consumers and patients to be able to utilize, come in, and become adherent with the prescriptions that they're supposed to be taking. The Diabetes Club, same thing. On Wellness Wednesdays and on our mobile RV, we try to host glucose checks and really keep patients healthy in terms of whatever the disease state that they're looking to learn more about is. We launched Navarro Health Services, which is a state-of-the-art facility. And I know we're a little tight on time, so I'm going to rush through some of these, but here are just some pictures. State-of-the-art facility with biometrics. As you look at here, what we're trying to do is free up the time that the pharmacist at the store level has to deal with the patient face-to-face. We want that personal touch. By taking them and some of their work out of their daily functions, we're able to fill the prescriptions here and send them to the store. So this is a huge support for our stores, and it's something that we're very proud of. We're the only pharmacy chain, and Vince can attest to this, that has a facility such as this one.
What's great about this is the patient actually, any maintenance medications are filled through our central fill and then delivered to the store that the patient chooses. So our pharmacists, to Christy's point, are not having to be bogged down with maintenance medications we know the patient's coming in for. That frees them up to take care of people as they come in on a one-on-one basis.
This is an interesting product. Down here, you see Easy Meds. It's a box with little pills hanging out in little bags. What this is basically designed for people that take 3 or more medications. How many of us know a grandma, an aunt, an uncle? There are many people out there that take 3 or more medications on a regular basis. This is something that helps them organize their medications by date, by time of day, and there's no missing anything here. The only way you miss it is by taking the packet off and not taking the medication, but it's really a great way to make sure people are taking their medication and they're adherent to it, and that there's no errors. My grandmother, you open her cabinet and she's got 1 million bottles in there of prescriptions that are probably 2 years old. Every time I go, I clean some of it out, but it's peace of mind for me to know she's using this and that she's not gonna make a mistake and take the wrong pill at the wrong time on the wrong day. So this is available for free to customers and to patients that are interested in enrolling. And here are just some more pictures of the machinery, which is great. And if any of you ever have the ability or the chance to go, this is located in Medley, which is where our corporate office is. That's our distribution center. We have a 270,000 square foot warehouse there, and this is where that central fill is located. And I just want to play this short commercial that kind of depicts the pharmacy piece.
To truly care for someone, you have to know them well. For over 50 years, Navarro Discount Pharmacy has been caring for the community's health, one customer at a time, through our board-certified bilingual pharmacists and a wide range of services that bring you the best and most convenient health care available. We know how valuable your time is. That's why we strive to fill your prescriptions in 15 minutes or less. Navarro Discount Pharmacy. We know how to care for you.
And so that was a campaign we launched a few years back. And again, the idea here is we care for you best, we think out of the box, and we fulfill your needs based on what your specific issues are. Vince?
So with all of that great marketing, we hopefully bring them to our storefronts. And the store experience, as Christy mentioned, is crucial. And these are all critical elements in really not only evolving our brand, but also understanding and connecting with our consumer. So our store experience is really all about being that difference. You know, you walk into a CVS or Walgreens here in Puerto Rico, in Rhode Island, in Chicago, you'll probably see the same exact store. There's a cookie cutter approach. And there's many reasons why that is, and certainly some valid points. But we do not do that. We create store locations that really connect with the community in which they reside. And so for us, that's very important. We develop unique designs, messaging, signage. It really connects with the community in particular.
You want to use that example?
This is a store in Doral, and obviously catering to a large population of Venezuelans. And so we bring in a lot of product mix that is from Venezuela. We really have changed. We recently remodeled the store. It's our newest remodel location. We really changed the look and feel of the store to really connect with that consumer. A higher end look, product mix is very distinct, and supporting the causes of that community. Ethnic diversity is important, and I mentioned earlier that there's a misconception that Navarro is only for that Cuban consumer, and that could not be more untrue. We're really changing and evolving, and again, not only in each store location, but across all of the chain, looking at ways to connect and understand who is shopping our stores. You can see we bring in a wide range of consumers from a multitude of different backgrounds. And our store locations really reflect that community, as I mentioned. In Hialeah, you'll see a very different store than you may see it in Kendall in one of our newer store locations. Really focused on assortment and value, and really creating a sense of treasure hunt in our stores. So we've brought in a lot of elements to the store, and with everything that we talk about in terms of the look, feel, the ambiance, the crucial and most important piece to all of this is the personal connection. And that really is what makes Navarro different. Our associates, many of them have been with us for many, many years. And there is a connection. It's almost a second family to customers. They come in and speak to our customers. They know their children, their grandchildren. And there is that connection that truly is part of what we call our secret sauce that makes Navarro very different from anywhere else. And new services are crucial. So again, bridging the gap, not only being Abuela's store, but how can we really connect with today and bring in a new consumer, a new generation of Hispanic and a new generation of people looking for convenience factors. So we put in some new elements. Recently, we brought in a full U.S. Postal Service kiosk. You can mail packages anywhere domestically and internationally through our stores, through self-service kiosks. We sell, and we are the largest agent in Florida of Metro PCS and T-Mobile cell phone technology. So we have a huge digital center now that is very complete. You can also recharge your phone for prepaid plans through any register in our store, domestically and internationally as well. And Chrissy alluded to this a few minutes ago. We just began Navarro Express, where, again, to make our store more convenient, in lieu of not having freestanding locations with drive-thrus, you can now place an order online and pick it up at our store. You can choose to come in and it's ready and packaged for you, ready to go, or we'll bring it out to the curb for you. A lot of restaurants do this, where they do curbside takeout. Well, you can actually come to a Navarro, park in the parking spots that say Navarro Express, dial a phone number and say, I'm here, and someone will come right out and ring you up on our mobile device, and you're ready to go. So our store really is evolving in many ways, not only in the look and feel, the product assortment, but also in the services that we're offering to truly connect and again, not break away from who Navarro is to that first generation Hispanic that has looked to us to help them understand not only healthcare, but also understand a new country, a new language, a new way of living. We're also attracting a new consumer and really driving innovation.
So here's just an example of, again, how we tie the basic trendy needs of the everyday consumer to some of the niche items, the caja china that we know is so important to celebrate certain holidays throughout the year, the domino table, and so there's an assortment of appliances, and these are just a couple of the interesting pieces of the store. The clocks, you may say, who still uses alarm clocks like that? Not everybody has an iPhone nowadays.
Alarm clocks, yeah.
Right, and we also serve a community of people that sends product to their home country in many cases. So these are products like VHS tapes and things like that are still sought out by our consumer, and that's why you see it on our shelf. It's not that it's just there because it hasn't sold. It actually does sell very well. We have pastelito bars in a couple of our stores, so that again, as you shop, you can have your coffee, you can have a pastelito, and it's the whole experience and the ambiance that we're trying to create. Very comfortable, warm, welcoming environment.
Product mix and assortment is key. Our consumer shops us very differently than they would shop a traditional drugstore. They come in oftentimes on foot in certain market areas and want to find anything and everything in our stores. Anything from replacement to the old coil burners for ovens, which many people don't use, but there's many that still do, to bata de casa for abuelita, or appliances, rice cookers, coffee makers, etc. We carry a lot of product mix that are hard to find, but that our consumer really expects us to have.
So with all of this, you may ask, what about Vida Mia? How did that become a project, and how was the brand developed? And we're very proud of this. This brand was not developed by Navarro. It was developed by Navarro's consumer. And we're very proud of it because usually what you'll find is many brands are created by companies who think they know what the consumer's looking for. We did it a little bit backwards. We said, let's ask the consumer what they're looking for, and let's try to be guided by these consumers that know what they want and can help us understand that. So Vida Mia was born.
So we know that the minority will soon become a majority. We know the growth and the spending power. Over $1.5 trillion in buying power is huge. And so how do we take that lion's share? And really it was about looking at what our customers wanted, what did they expect that they were not finding, not only in our stores but anywhere. And it really came down to developing a brand, not a private label, but a true Hispanic brand.
So the consumer's choice, how did we go about this, and what did we do? Because I think this is a great case study, and it's a great undertaking that has proven to be very successful. We took groups and we created focus groups in order to ask specific questions about product usage, preferences. And so our objective was, let's find out, what are they currently buying? What are they looking for in these products? And how do we mimic some of that? And how do we assimilate some of that into the Vida Mia program? So key learnings, and what are some of the things that came out of this, which was obviously very interesting. We all know price was a factor, right? In a tough economy, high unemployment, people are looking at value as a key attribute. However, quality was right up there with price. They don't want to pay less for a lesser quality. And that's why, to Vince's point, this is not just a generic brand. This is just not a private brand. This is a brand. And it is a national brand equivalent product. So when you use it, you'll find that the quality is far superior than the generic option, and it's probably very similar, if not equal to your national brand option.
And we know that thinking, right? Lo barato es caro, right?
Right.
So we know that the consumer understands that, you know, if it's a lower price, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a great value. So that was key in our, understanding and how we looked at this brand.
Absolutely. Another thing that was interesting, which I think we all knew, but it was interesting to hear it, is that what influences people to make purchasing decisions many times is what people tell them. And if somebody buys it, they like it, or they're at that person's house and they see the person using it, that interest is sparked. And so that word of mouth advertising is a key piece to this. I can put all the commercials up. I can wrap all the buses in Miami-Dade County. At the end of the day, your experience is a lot more important and helps us and helps the brand grow even further. So that was a key learning. Accessibility. They want to be able to see it, to your point, available and accessible to them at our stores and at various locations. And they like to see it to the right of the national brand. Why? Because then it gives them the ability not just to have to read the label, but to see what does this brand act like and what does it compete with. The packaging was key. It had to be an attractive look. They like pictures as part of the packaging because, again, depending on what the primary language of that consumer is, the pictures will always help them get a clearer idea of what the product is. So Vida Mia as a whole was developed. You'll see that Vida Mia has over 1,100 items, from beauty items to food items to baby items to health items. It's really a nice broad brand, and that's another reason that it is unique. Most of the time you'll see private labels or private brands are concentrated in one area. Vida Mia takes it a step further, and you'll see that there's subcategories to the brand. Here are just some examples of packaging. Again, you see the national brand on the right and the Vida Mia product on the left, which is a little bit larger. So the packaging is extremely attractive. I think you'd all agree. And some of the things that we've done to make sure that the brand is not only relevant, but is what it is designed to be, which is the first Hispanic fully bilingual brand developed by our consumer, is that you see that not just the label is translated, you'll see that there's an example here, again, more products, but at the end of the day, we're calling out the national brand equivalent on every product. And the instructions, the precautions, the directions, everything that has to do with the brand is translated. It's not just the front of the label and that's it, because that is very common out there. And you'll see that there's many brands that are translated on the cover, but then when you dig a little deeper, it's in one or the other language.
A lot of CPGs obviously create the bilingual packaging in terms of just the front or just the name in many cases. But we're unable to, because of the size of the packaging, or the product itself, to actually get any instructions in language. And so we've made sure that every single one of our items has instructions and relevant information in language, which makes us a very unique brand.
So again, another attribute that was key was the guarantee. We said to customers, we are so confident in this brand and we're so confident that we've developed it to your liking that we want to know at any point if it doesn't meet your needs, just bring it back to us, we'll take care of it. It's 100% guaranteed, which is, again, a key differentiator, and we do that because we want it to be for the best interest of the consumer.
And we know trial is difficult. Many times the consumer that doesn't know or understand a brand fully, especially a new brand, certainly it's difficult to gain their loyalty or even gain trial. And so the guarantee, along with many other marketing techniques, really help to gain that trial and their buy-in.
Now in the beauty care area, you'll see that there's more of a professional looking line. This is called the V line. It's still Vida Mia, but this is something that you'll see is more related to the beauty category in terms of the Moroccan oil, the keratin shampoos and products. So this is a more professional looking line, but it is still under the Vida Mia brand. So again, in terms of marketing, advertising, and what we've done, we've had a lot of fun with Vida Mia. We've engaged the stores, the employees. They're our primary consumer when it comes to programs like this, because they need to know the product, they need to use the product, and they need to help us sell the product and educate our consumer on what it is. This was an example of the commercial we used to launch, and this is real quick, but we used two very popular actresses, Angelica Maria and Angelica Vale, to assist us with this during the launch, and I'm just gonna play it real quick.
Les presento Vida Mía, una amplia gama de productos de la más alta calidad a los mejores precios y con empaque bilingüe, desde productos comestibles y artículos de belleza hasta medicamentos y productos de limpieza. Con Vida Mía le darás lo mejor a los tuyos. Cepillos de diente 99 centavos, variedad de esmaltes de uña $4, aspirina de baja dosis compre una y lleve otra gratis, variedad de tés 99 centavos. Da lo mejor de ti con Vida Mía.
So that's just one example of the commercial. We've had live integrations with Hispanic stations like Telemundo in our stores. It was interesting because leading up to the rollout, we had a coming soon campaign to start letting consumers know. And then once the product was here, we did really neat things like, purchase the national brand, get the Vida Mia brand for free to start introducing the brand to the consumers. And then obviously using our circular as one of the main mediums, we hit over 800,000 homes on a weekly basis here in Miami-Dade. So our circular does have penetration power, and we know this for a fact because anytime we've tried to make an adjustment or make a change, you see it immediately. So customers still go to the circular for deals and for opportunities. So that's one of the ways that we also got it out. In addition to community, we were part of the Marlins campaign, which they've been doing pretty well this season. So let's hope it continues. Carnival on the Mile. Again, these are all activations, Familia en Hogar, where we had a live appearance by Angelica Maria that year, and it was wonderful. Actually, at that event, people came up to us and asked, where else can we buy Vida Mia? So that was a nice thing. That was pretty flattering. The brand has won many awards through the private label associations, and so we're very proud of that, and it continues to do very well. These are just a few of the recognitions it's received. So bottom line, here's the question.
So, are you prepared to cater to this consumer in a relevant fashion? And I can tell you, I mentioned that secret sauce that Navarro has. And I can tell you from personal experience, having worked for a Fortune 50 organization that really was looking very, very, intently on mimicking. How does a major, American drug chain go after the Hispanic consumer? And I can tell you, they have not been able to find that secret sauce. And that's what makes Navarro different. In 53 years and counting, continues to be our main difference. The question is, and the last question is, how can you really become relevant to the consumer within your organization? And certainly there's many things around that secret sauce, but clearly the most important and the one that's hardest to copy is that connection to the consumer.
Exactly. So thank you for your time. I know we have a couple of minutes. I think we went a little over, but we have a couple of minutes for questions or comments. Any questions?
Are your app and website also fully bilingual?
Yes.
Our Navarro Express as well. So Navarro Express was our new convenience feature where you can place any orders online and pick it up at the store, either by coming in or curbside. You have all of the products, and basically those products that are offered are the full gamut of categories within the store and is also bilingual. We also have a live chat option or a phone option where someone can call in and get assistance in language, obviously, if needed.
Pretty much all in-house. Predominantly the print piece for sure, 100%. If we do anything electronic, sometimes we'll outsource that production because we don't do as much of it as we'd like to be able to, justify that being in-house. But for the most part, yes. And all of the community events, all of that falls in-house. As a matter of fact, before I forget, if you become a fan on Facebook today, because it's an exclusive offer to all of you, you're going to be able to get an offer that we have up there exclusive to you guys. So don't forget before you leave to make sure you become a fan. Any other questions?
How do you create the brand Vida Mia? Because I saw a picture of like a fabuloso with Vida Mia. Isn't that the same thing as fabuloso?
It looks a lot like Fabuloso, however, it's not exactly. So what we did was we created the logo, we created the label, and so we have artists that work with the vendors that are producing that item. That item, as an example, the scent comes from France. And again, we went through a dozen items, vendors, presenting that item, but it's so important that it is a national brand equivalent that we went through some blind testing. We used the product. It's actually very interesting because, just because, and again, the scent is very important, but the product has to do what it's designed to do, which is clean, and Hispanics tend to like that scent. So yes, to your point, it looks very similar, which is important, but there's specific artists behind all of that.
And it is called Maravilloso, by the way.
Right.
So
From Fabuloso to Maravilloso.
How hard is it to bring a product or a brand into the Navarro chains?
Great
Actually,
question.
not at all.
Not at all.
And that's, again, what makes us different. A lot of people that asked that same question 53 years ago, like the Café La Llave story, are huge vendors today. If it applies, to the demographic we're servicing, if it's something that meets the needs of the programs that we're trying to, launch and run at our company, it shouldn't be difficult at all. So it just requires a call or an email. Let's set up a meeting, and then we can review all of those things.
And once that process, do you guys require that product
To sell?
No, I mean, of course, at the end of the day, but to place a marketing budget for you guys to push.
There's different opportunities. Sometimes it's a consignment vendor where the vendor says, look, I just want to bring this product in, test it at a couple of stores, and we pay the vendor as it sells. And then there's other types of setups where we can bring the product in, we buy a certain amount, and then we have stipulations depending on what we foresee the volume to be. And that vendor, we do ask vendors to participate in marketing the product because our goal is for that product to move. So it's not expensive, it's not out of anybody's league, but even something as simple as the circular, which is maybe a couple $100 a week for the vendor, it makes sense because we see the difference between having a product advertised versus just putting it on the shelf. But it's manageable.
and we do support local entrepreneurs. I mean, we
Absolutely.
have many instances where we've done that and believe it's important. And there's many organizations, many retailers today are looking at optimization, right? Reducing the number of SKUs. And I'm not saying that we're not looking at efficiencies, but we also look at, being relevant to the consumer, and our consumer wants options, whether it's size options, whether it's different branding options on the shelf. So we are looking at that in a very different fashion.
I'll give you an example. Have you guys seen the daisies on the cars? Okay, so that's a vendor who's local, who sells in a boutique type setting. And she and I spoke a couple of months back, and she says, look, I'd love to try this at Navarro. I said, absolutely. I'd love to have you at Navarro because, again, what am I trying to do? Get that younger Hispanic or non-Hispanic consumer to find us relevant. And the daisy sold out within 3 days. And so that's the idea. So sometimes, it takes tweaking, and it takes a really open communication with that vendor to say, hey, it's working here, it's not working there, let's move it from this place to another place. But between store ops, marketing, merchandising, and really the full operation, because we're local and because we're a manageable size, there's not a lot of red tape, and it doesn't take too long to get these things done, which makes us unique, and we're proud of that too. Yes?
How do you do with the Haitian market?
Good question, Vince. You can
Excellent
talk about 33.
question. We have a store in North Miami that actually is a very unique location. It's one of our newer locations that is actually very much Haitian and also Hispanic. It's interesting. It's a market where in the morning our clientele tends to be primarily Haitian. In the evening you see a very big shift where you actually see the affluent Hispanic population actually come into shop. And so we have really looked at ways to provide offerings in that store that are for both consumers. So a lot of foods, we brought in some foods for the Haitian consumer. And basically we asked the customers, but also our associate base is a reflection of the community. So a lot of our associates also helped us that are of Haitian descent and obviously some Hispanics that work in the store. We're able to really understand what does this consumer here at this store expect us to have. And so we've tweaked the mix to help really retain that consumer. We've also done some marketing in Creole for that consumer.
we're good. Thank you so much once again. We appreciate your time and we hope you enjoy the rest of your event.